Hello, fellow woodsmen. This is the Ruck Rabbit here, Chad Redding. Today, I'm doing a fire challenge for the group Gray Wolf Outdoors. And part of this challenge is you have to do 2 fires with 2 different lays, all natural materials, no man-made materials. Flint and steel, if you do use man-made materials, has to be a material you make, such as char cloth or some kind of homemade fire starter. So I selected for my fire lay, and this is the first video of 2. I selected for my first fire lay the simple leading to fire. And the reason I selected this one is this is one I use a lot. It's similar to the TP. I actually call it a variation of the TP, but the nice thing about this is it's much more stable. It won't fall over on you, and we got a lot of rocks here in Pennsylvania, so I usually use some rock backing. I'm here at the Warren today. I'm not out in the woods today, so we're just using the handmade hit I got here today. But anyways, this is one I use a lot, and as you can see, I got everything prepped. I got a lot of smaller tinder on the inside. I got some fat wood, a little bit of this greenery stuff. Another thing I'm going to mention, and you can see it right here, is we had a rainstorm yesterday, so it was a little damp. So what I normally do, if it rains or if the ground's damp, I'll put some bark down like this, or I'll split a piece of wood and lay bigger pieces of wood in the bottom. That way, to get the fire up and off the wet ground, helps keep the moisture off. So for my first ignition is I'm going to use flint and steel, but unlike flint and steel, I'm going to use a piece of quartz. And the advantage of this is it's sourced here in Pennsylvania. Everything I have here as far as the wood, my tinder bundle, which I'll tell you about in a minute, my steel, and the quartz are all sourced here in Pennsylvania. We don't have a lot of abundant sources of flint, so I like to use the native quartz. One disadvantage is the quartz will kind of shatter a little bit because it's a crystal versus the flint, but it still makes sparks. If you check out another one of my videos, I did a slow motion of a piece of quartz coming off the steel. This steel striker here, this particular one, I got a couple, was sourced here in Pennsylvania by Curtis Plank in Hanover, Pennsylvania, the gentleman that makes my tomahawks that I use. So I just figured, you know, I used something that was actually made here in South Central Pennsylvania. The tinder bundle here is Tulip Poplar, which I was messing with the other day. It works awesome. You can see it shreds up into a nice bird's nest. I lined that with cattail fluff. That is a fast accelerant. We'll take it quick. Also put a little bit of char cloth that I made, so that's here. That's also here from Pennsylvania. So everything is sourced from PA. I try and use as much stuff from Pennsylvania. I am very proud of my state, and also I like to use stuff that I can find locally. You know, the quartz I can find anywhere. It's very common here in PA. And you know, Curtis makes awesome strikers. This one, particular one, I have 2 of his, was made from a file. I don't know if you could see the grooves there, but a lot of people make them out of files, and this thing throws sparks like crazy. So, and if you didn't know, any rock that is harder than steel, be it quartz or flint, will throw a spark. It's not the rock itself, it's actually the steel that is shredding off and becoming hot. Some people don't know that. I've had some questions, you know, if different rocks make different sparks, and no, they don't. They all make the same one. So, and I'm going to mention this now. For my second fire, I'm going to be doing a log cabin lay, you know, and I'm going to be doing a green wood fire. And as you can see, I just cut this piece of hickory today. So, you know, this is green, obviously. Branch, I left the leaves on it right now just so you can see it. When I start the other video, I'm going to already have a lot of this prepped up, and I'll explain that to you on how I do that. I've done a couple greenwood fires. It's challenging. That involves a ferro rod. So we're allowed for the challenge a ferro rod to ignite the fire. So without further ado, let's get this rolling here. So I'm taking a piece of char cloth out, and I made this good old Altoids tin. Made this the other day. And there's different ways to strike flint and steel. Also have my fire tube, pocket bellows. I usually extend this a while. I'm not making a giant fire, so I just have a couple small pieces here. I'm gonna let that go because I want it to die down when I do the other fire, when I do that lay. So, people do this differently. Some people lay it on the top, some people lay it on the bottom. I like to do either or. And we got it. Can't see it, but it's there. So I'll put that in there. We got a little bit of wind. Work at under there. As you can see, one thing I like about the tulip poplar versus like jute twine for flint and steel is and you can see it's taken off. Like I said, I got some fat wood in there and a little bit of green resinous stuff. One thing I like about the tulip poplar versus the fat wood is that it actually holds the flame a lot better than the jute twine. The jute twine is what I call a fast tinder. It just really goes up quick. This holds it a lot better, and I like using it with the cattail fluff, because that really goes. And I'll add a little extra piece of char cloth. That usually helps too. But as you can see, this fire lay works really great. And what other thing I like about the lean-to is, like I said, it's simple. It's more stable than the TP. It's actually getting a little hot. And I can stack it, I can layer it. I can have like the lighter tinder on the bottom, go up to the pencil size, and then throw some finger size pieces on there like this on there, and then I could start laying bigger pieces on there. You can put it up against a rock, or you can use I'll use also bigger pieces of wood, so it'll kind of work to dry out some of the bigger pieces if they're wet. So anyways, I'm going to let this burn down. I'm going to stop this video because it's starting to get hot. And I'm going to prep for the next one. So fair weather and safe journeys. And look for this on YouTube and on Gray Wolf Outdoors. Thank you.